I've been thinking a lot about trust in social media, right? So we're in this crazy time, world-changing pandemic, and we're outside of our norm. We don't have our usual things around us. So we're looking at social media differently. It's often our primary way of interacting with other people. So it's super important, and yet it's overwhelming, right? So what does it mean to establish trust during a pandemic? So PathCheck is this new organization. And how do we convince people that we're trustworthy, that we're knowledgeable, that we're someone you should listen to in these life and death matters? It started me thinking about trust, right? How do we convey trust? I don't think you can. You can't tell someone to trust you. It's not something that we're persuaded about. We observe and earn trust through our action. So no one is going to trust you if you say, you could trust me, right? That's, in fact, for Americans, I think that will set off more alarm bells, right? So how do we quickly establish trust for a new organization? I think I have to look back on my own career, right? So I advise people in the media business about matters that are worth so much more than money, right? But millions of dollars are usually on the line, but more than that, your personal brand. So if I say to one of my clients like Mary J. Blige that you should appear on the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack, not only should you appear, but you can't afford not to be there. And this is why. And to unpack all the reasons why it's a good idea for the client to take the action that I think they should take. Because that's my role, is I give people advice and hopefully they make decisions that guide their careers. And whether or not they earn money or they damage their brand or they miss opportunities, all of that hinges on the advice that I might give them. And I never had to stop and think, how shall I convince them to trust me? It was never an issue for me. I live my brand values, which are authenticity, transparency, being highly knowledgeable, highly skilled, and being authentic and in the moment and giving people information to make decisions. And that's when I take a look at how do I convince people to trust PathCheck. It's the same way that you've convinced people in your life to trust you, that whether it's, getting your mom to give you the keys to her car or signing that big account at work, these are all matters of trust. And I think when we live our brand values as PathCheck and we're committed to transparency through having open source software and authenticity and current events like diversity and equity and inclusion, when those are our brand values and we live those brand values, people will begin to see us for who we are and they'll be open to what we have to say. Whether or not they trust us, we have a value proposition. And I think that's exciting.